Wealth and the misalignment of your strategy and your identity. We all want to hold greater capacity in wealth, in our growth in general in business, and there is a misalignment between identity and strategy. Many are really focusing as identity and strategy is two separate things. But what I have come to know is that your identity and your strategy are actually something that are coherent. You are meant to look at them as a reflection of each other. And this is where you reclaim your power in your wealth capacity. Because where one is not working, the other one is not working. This is the Residency in Power with Autumn Oakley. 10 minutes of precision for the leader ready to hear what their success has been costing them. No bypassing. We cut straight to the core of the awareness you've been looking for. So you can reclaim your power to lead in success that feels successful to you. So, when you are struggling in your systems, the things you want to implement, your offerings, the strategy side of things, in what it is you actually want to hold greater capacity in wealth, in revenue, in your business, I want you to actually remove yourself from it and look at your identity. Because once you become clear in your identity of where the misalignment is, where you're overextending yourself, where you are not really operating in that identity that you fully need to be embodying to actually lead differently, to bring in the wealth, you need to be really honest with yourself about like the space you're holding, the things you're doing in your day. And those are what we talk about in regards to identity, but it's not performance. It's not fake it till you make it. And this helps you through the integration process of what it means to actually shift your identity. Because when you focus it in your business, then it actually just goes hand in hand. It's like a yo-yo effect between the two. It helps you to bring awareness from one to the other, and it just slowly integrates with you that you notice you'll wake up one day and that old identity doesn't really affect you. You no longer feel triggered to partake in old actions that you once did. It just kind of fades away. So when you're struggling and you're really questioning the details in your strategy side of things to hold greater capacity in your wealth, how you lead your teams, the details of what you're implementing, your offers, the systems, all of it, your content, when you are really focusing on that, remove yourself, look at your identity. Really just start getting really uncomfortable and intentional to see like where your identity is misaligned and you're actually in that capacity to hold greater wealth. Why? Because the systems are what you've been focusing on. It is likely already in place for something to come in, but your identity isn't able to hold that capacity energetically in your nervous system. Your capacity is being limited from your identity to believe that you're worthy of success, that you have been continuously building, but you're not seeing results because your identity can't hold the capacity. Your nervous system doesn't feel safe to take up space. And then I want you to focus on where you're feeling a disconnect in your identity in regards to wealth. Because this will be, for an example, the leader who's feeling you've hit a ceiling, you've hit a cap. The business is running. You're making revenue. You have the audience. Things are flowing. They're looking correct on the exterior side of things in your business, in the wealth side of things. But you know that there's a block. You know that nothing has changed. If things are not growing, shifting, expanding, leaving, rearranging, then we're not actually expanding capacity from our identity. We're not expanding capacity in the systems themselves a lot of the time. Because what I see amazing leaders do is that they'll say they've been at $1 million for 4 years, let's say, and they don't understand the reason as to why. They have the revenue, they have the things, and what they are actually, looking to do is, just add more through their marketing. They're looking to add more ads to bring in more revenue. But they try that, it doesn't work, it doesn't collapse, they feel overwhelmed. A lot of the time they'll say like, this is just like, this isn't worth my energy. I keep coming to burnout to hold the capacity. You have to look at your identity. You have to look at your identity. And then once you see the details in your identity of where you don't feel that you can change how you've once structured things, then that's when you focus on the systems. Because when you're at a ceiling, it's obvious the systems are in place. It's obvious you have the community. It's obvious you have the revenue coming in. Your wealth capacity is huge. It's holding. But it's the same. It's not changing. So there's a detail that you were like, okay, well, this is working. I'm going to look at my identity. I'm going to go over here and take a look. And you start looking at like, Where is it I'm holding myself to that I'm operating the same? Because I need to change if I want my revenue to expand. And then once you see the identity details, one, a few, whatever it may be, and you're like, oh, okay, well, it's definitely me. That's the moment you see the details in your systems, what you need to implement in regards to strategy for you to actually expand the capacity and for you to align the details that actually start raising the revenue, that actually start bringing in the flow of money that you're looking to bring in. People hit ceilings because it's a correlation between the two. The things are working, they've hit a ceiling, but their identity is operating the same way. So you have to reflect on that. Go over here, go over here. Look at your identity. And then once you see it, you're like, oh, okay, now I recognize it's me. But the moment you actually recognize where your identity was stopping you, shrinking your capacity, leading you to just do repetitive things, then that is actually the perfect opportunity. And it's always aligned. Your mind will literally just see, oh, well, this system clearly doesn't work. Why? Because your consciousness meets that. It's all energy and it's frequency. So when you understand that, like, one thing is always connected to another and you're allowed to like go between different things, because if you're just focusing on strategy, that's why you always hit a cap. That's why you're feeling stuck. That's why you keep building things and you're feeling stressed out and burnt out, because you haven't addressed your identity. Your identity is all the way back here. You gotta take a look at her. You gotta take a look at him and see what's going on. And then you're like, okay, give them some love, grieve that identity, feel it in your body, get uncomfortable with it because it's always uncomfortable. And then you come back and you're like, okay, well, I have, dealt with her. I've dealt, with that version of me. I give them grace. They did a great job, but like, whew, now I can breathe. Now I can flow. Now I can expand. Now I can lead fully in my capacity. And it's not so limiting. I'm not coming into burnout. Why? Because naturally, you feel safe in your nervous system to take up more space. You see the leaks in your systems themselves because you are holding that frequency in your consciousness. You are holding that perspective differently because you had a shift in identity that you naturally just, it meets your awareness. And you're like, oh, well, this system's shit. You see the leaks clearly in how you were doing things. And you're like, oh, well, obviously that's the thing. And we focus on that though, because we're like, I'm trying all these different things, but everything is actually the same. What you're trying is just implementing the same things. You have to break out of the box. You have to see the aligned details. And that's the clue, is that you can do 40 different things. It doesn't mean it's going to expand your revenue. It doesn't mean it's going to hold, in your capacity. You need to understand that holding greater capacity is about many different details. It's about bringing coherence from one thing to the other. If you're only focused on the strategy and you're ignoring your identity, that's never going to hold. There's always going to be a collapse, a ceiling in your revenue. If you are not able to address the systems because you're focused on healing all the time, you're focused on forcing an identity shift in the stress of things, there's nothing wrong with you. Identity is simply the things, the mask that you're wearing, the versions of yourself that you were taught to become in experience, maybe generationally, in societal ways. It's just, you see the mask, you see how you're operating, and you recognize your power. You reclaim higher capacity to hold that fully when you're like, I'm worthy of this. Why have I been playing with this nonsense? And then once you see the mask, like, why am I overextending this stuff? And it's not to blame things. Everything in life is a lesson for you. So when you look at your identity, you're like, oh my God, well, I need to shift that. I need to start setting boundaries. I need to start practicing discernment. I need to shift how I'm actually showing up, because let's just be honest, I'm not showing up in the capacity I need to hold what I want to expand the revenue. I need to really be in that, not out of a sense of performance, but through integration and embodiment to truly become that version of yourself, because it's already you. Your natural state is your grandest capacity. Your natural state is to evolve into that, so that expansion, reality, and revenue meet you, the partnerships, the connections, the life you want to be living. You have so much power to change your life. You have so much power to hold greater wealth. You have so much power to hold greater capacity in how you lead things. But it is a unique detail in understanding that there needs to be coherence in all areas of your life. So to hold greater wealth capacity, Focus between those two and understand they're not separate things. You don't have to force them so much. When you're having an issue in one, take a look at the other. When you're feeling like you're focused in one area too much, go back to the other. It's like this yo-yo, and you'll go back and forth, and you will slowly begin to see like, oh, okay, well, that system is obviously not going to hold the capacity. This platform I built it on isn't the aligned one. It actually can't expand. You'll recognize how most often what I see with amazing leaders, you will recognize that you've been playing small, you've been shrinking. You're looking at someone else's success and saying, oh, that's for me. When you're here to expand into bigger, you're supposed to be expanding into greater wealth. Leaders with great heart and great intention, I think a lot of the time, we have to come out of these identities, these limiting beliefs that like, you got to let it be better. You got to let it be grander. You got to understand that like you're worthy of these things. So that is the process. And for the one who's looking to lead in higher capacity to really bring in the wealth breakthrough that you're looking to bring in ways that also stop costing you yourself, because that's why you need to focus on your systems, your strategy, and your identity so that it stops coming at a cost to you in future. And that's really how you're going to bring it into fruition. You're going to focus on the connection between your identity and your strategy and just go back and forth, step by step, take the pieces that work, let go of the things that don't, restructure and adapt and let go of the things you outgrew, even though you may know that you don't really want to do it. Let it be better. If you want to align to higher capacity in general as a leader, but higher revenue, higher wealth capacity, you have to understand that you're being led to build something grander. Your nervous system needs to be able to hold that capacity and wealth. So sometimes, yes, you were playing small from what society taught you, from the success that you thought was yours, from what other people were holding. And that is the unfortunate thing, is that when we're not clear on the foundation of who we are, that is when we have to restructure things in business to hold that capacity so that it doesn't collapse or need to be restructured in time. Sometimes that means your platform's too small. It can't expand with you. You have to switch it, which yes, means you're going to lose some of your community. But this is a whole new octave for you. This is where you're actually going to expand in your revenue anyway. So brave it out. Don't fear losing people who aren't willing to, hold the capacity with you. Understand every time you shift, every time you grow, every time you want to hold greater capacity as a leader and you actually start embodying that wealth does meet you. You just need to structure the systems that hold that capacity and focus on your identity so it can hold that capacity as well. And when you connect those two, that is where revenue always finds you. Honored to have you here. If this found you, it was meant to. 'Tis I, Autumn Airy Oakley. This is the residency in power, leading in what is built to last.